3, 2, 1, go. Welcome to Grounds After Rounds.
Cool. All right. You good? Everyone
I'm good.
Cool.
Let's do it. I'm
Yeah.
trying to think of a joke. I'm trying to think of.
I haven't finished Huey's yet. I'm like halfway through, and I thought about that. I was like, I don't know his joke.
Do you want me to tell it to you?
Yes.
It's so a blind guy walks into a bar,
Ouch.
then a chair, then a table, then another patron, then the bartender, then the back door, then a car in the parking lot. He kept going. I'm making those
Just
up. I don't
keep
know.
going.
But yeah, and I was just like, oh my, because the way he's like, he delivered it like it wasn't a joke, but it was.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh my God, that's it.
You're like
That's
waiting for a punchline, but
yeah.
there's no
And I
punch.
was like, that was so well delivered. It was really good.
That's good.
No,
I was listening to Huey, and he said, I almost texted you because he said something about something being convoluted, and I almost texted you like a 15-year-old's using the word convoluted. Right?
we've upped the vocabulary here on Grounds After
I don't think I've
Rounds.
ever used the word convoluted except in the phrase, what does convoluted mean?
Can you use convoluted in a sentence?
Hey, Doug, look at that convoluted over there.
I ain't saying I'm convoluted, but I haven't pooped in 3 days.
Sometimes it's like to convolute words into sentences, even though I don't know what they mean.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, the convoluted got released from prison, and he was doing fine.
This is gold.
Should we have started with the joke already?
Maybe.
We're already in it.
I
3,
think
2, 1, go.
We're in it.
Grounds After
It's
Rounds.
Grounds After Rounds.
I love what we consider gold. I'd be curious. I don't actually have any gold from it.
Some people would consider it we spray painted rust with gold. It's still rust.
Yeah. So I've realized why I'm glad I've chosen to be an absentee father with my children in certain situations.
Right.
Maintaining of their equipment and their gear is one of them. So Matthew's bike, they get flat tires. I've had the same bikes for the one bike I've had for like over 20 years.
Sure.
No issues with it. I mean, tires.
Like your bike, the bike that you ride.
Yeah. Well, it's a road bike. It's a tri bike.
Right.
I mean, I don't use it all that often, but I mean, when I was in Hawaii, it was my ride to work. So I rode it every day for a year and a half and never got a flat tire. Whatever, knock on wood, maybe I'm lucky. I got the one now. Natty had it when she was a mid, didn't want it, so she left it at the house, and so I have. So it's my road bike because I think one of the boys broke one of my. No, I got my commuter bike stolen when we were in Hawaii. So it's great. Same thing. Never have flat tire, no issues or whatever. The boys have bikes. They get a flat tire probably once or twice a month.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, where are you riding? Like, what are you doing? How, like, and so
I told you to avoid the pile of
in order to not just lose my mind, because okay, I have no problem like taking care of things and cleaning up and like organizing the gym or whatever. But at some point, like I definitely get triggered in if I'm the only one cleaning up or putting things away or fixing the bike. It's not even my bike. I have a bike that I take care of and it works just fine.
Yeah.
Because it's my bike that I take care of.
Yeah.
That works just fine.
Yeah.
You have a bike that you don't take care of, that you don't respect, that you don't use appropriately, and it breaks. No, you cannot use my bike.
Yes.
It's that easy, right? Like this is Mike Batista and I have been talking about Gretchen Rubin has the 4 tendencies. I have not read the book yet. He sent me the quiz. I took the quiz. I'm what's called a upholder. There's obligers, rebels, and something else. There's 4 tendencies that we all fall into, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I think I've heard this. Yeah.
I remember she was on a podcast one time. So anyway, totally makes
Our podcast?
sense. No, not our
Not our
podcast. We should
podcast.
try to get her on our podcast. But the other tendencies, there's one who is an obliger, and it's not that the obliger like lets themselves get walked all over, but like he's the example, his wife was at a class and whatever, and she got like a phone call that she missed her dental appointment or something. And she's like, oh my God. So she left the class early to go call the dentist office and whatever. And then there was like a package came and she was on the front point. And we both chuckled because we're like, I'd be like, well, I missed the appointment. Yeah. There's nothing I can do now.
Yeah.
But an obliger in the reading of the description of it will make, so let's say I make a promise to myself that I'm going to work out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 o'clock. But then I also make a promise or a commitment to somebody that I will meet them at 9:50 for coffee.
Right.
And it comes up and I'm like, crap, that's on Wednesday and I work out and the class isn't over until 10. What I would do as the obliger is I would look at like, well, who did I make the promise to first? Right. It's a commitment thing, and the commitment has a priority hierarchy. And where I fall into that hierarchy is on par, equitable with other people. Do you know what I mean? Right. Like, it's basically, I'm just another person who I have made, like, I'm just another person who I have made a commitment to, right? Regardless of whether it's somebody else or not, I get to fall into that mix. And if I made the promise to me first, which is I always work out from 9 to 10 on Wednesdays, it's not, you know what I'm making this up. Right. And then somebody asked me, hey, can we meet for coffee at 9:50 on Wednesday? My answer would be no. How about 10:30? Oh, I can't make 10:30. How about a different day? Right? Like, I won't. Whereas the obliger would say, yes, okay, because right, they will always put another person in front of themselves, which is, and this is the thing about it, which I really like, there's not good or bad. This isn't a one is better or worse than the other. It is simply, how do you perceive the world? Yeah. And if I recognize that I perceive the world in one way and you recognize you perceive it another way, we can better communicate with each other if we are willing to recognize that we don't see the world from the same way. Right. So as the obliger, or as the upholder or whatever, I can say, okay, I get it. I see what's happening here. How about we just pick another day completely? Or, you know what? I can let go of that. I can fit my workout in at a different time. I will meet you. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, because if it's causing somebody stress and I'd say that I love that person or I can care about that, whatever. With the bike thing, no. Fix your own bike. And here's why. Because, so the tubes were all screwed up that we have. So I bought the tube. It takes me 30 seconds to change out the tube in the back of the tire. Yeah. It takes them like days. Yeah. Which I do, and I should let them work on it more, which they will. And that's the thing about it.
You've done it so many times, you can do it with your eyes closed. Yeah. Plus, you've diffused bombs, so what's
right, and it makes sense to me. But I've done theirs so many times now, too. You know, which is probably the problem. I should just let them do it, which I try to do. But what happens is then they just don't do it, and they leave the bike in the garage, and then they're like borrowing bikes or whatever. And then they're borrowing my bike, which for a while there I was like, yes, because Maddie's bike was completely hosed because I hosed it and trying to fix it. Yeah. He had gotten the chain jammed into the derailleur, and I took it completely apart. And Nicole finally, and I needed one specific tool, but I wasn't going to spend $45 for the tool. Right. So instead we spent $100 to take it to the bike shop to get it fixed, which is probably a good choice because I would have never been able to. Right. It would have been a mess. But the guy, when he saw it, goes, wow, I've never seen a tire taken apart like this. So I'm willing to do the work for them a lot of the time because they do take care of themselves most of the time. Makes sense. So here's the whole point of this story. So I changed the tire on his bike. I pump it up. I check the pressure in the front tire because, right, like you're changing the tires, check the pressures. Well. He was low in the front too, which is why you get flat tires. Check your tire pressure, folks. So, so I change it and I'm like, all right, good to go. I flip it over and I go to like check the brakes because, check.
You want the brakes to work.
Yeah. So the back brake, I'm like, this is weird. This one doesn't even like have any pressure. Chase the line down. It's completely snapped. And I'm like, front one works. So I text him like, your bike's good to go. Your back brakes are hosed, whatever. And he goes, oh yeah, that's been like that for a while. I'm just like, oh my God, dude. Oh my God. My whole point being, that is why it is safer and healthier for me to be just disinterested and absent from taking care of their stuff, because the state that they keep it in works for them, but it drives me insane.
And if you try to be the one to like take care of it, it's just going to drive you crazy.
It's going to drive me even more insane because they don't care. And so it's because
yeah, from your perspective, they don't care about their stuff,
right? But they
but
don't.
Really from their perspective is like, you know, like the back one doesn't work, but the front one does. Right. And I only need one to work to be able to do my thing. So, but then that's the wires crossed when it's like my bike's broken. Can I borrow your bike?
Right.
No.
And that's I have no problem saying no.
Yeah.
And then what transpires in the conversation a lot of times then between the other head of the household is and Nicole's actually quite good about it. Like she doesn't pamper to them either, but like, well, how are they going to get to where they go? And I'm like, not my problem, right? Like that, they will figure it out, or they will fix their bike, or they will say, hey, my bike is broken. I have an appointment, or I want to be somewhere on Thursday and it's Monday when they're telling me.
Yeah.
That's enough heads up. All right, I can take a look at it.
Yeah.
But if you tell me at 3:45, my bike's broken and you need to be somewhere at 4, I can't help you, man.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And they're 15 at this point. You know what I mean? We're not talking about a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
Like a different conversation.
Yeah.
We've been down.
It's funny. It is and it isn't, because it's
still boundaries.
We went, Meg went thrift shopping with the wee ones yesterday.
Hey, Macklemore, can we go thrift shopping? What?
And Fee got it's like an iPhone case. It's just an iPhone case. And that's her phone now. She has a phone now. She's so excited. Of course, then in the car ride to school today, she asked me, she's like, Daddy, I need you to put your phone in my case. And I was like, well, what about, then I don't have a phone. She goes, you can share mine. But we're leaving the house, and she gets in the car and she goes, I want to take my phone. I said, well, Fee, I'll make sure Mommy brings it when she comes and picks you up. She goes, but I want to show my friends. I was like, well, you should have thought about that like before. Like we're already running like 5 minutes late.
Yeah.
So I was like, you should have thought about that when we left. I was like, I'll make sure Mommy brings it. And then she's just like loses it.
Yeah.
And then I hear Megan, the window was open, and Meg like heard her, and I just hear Eric, and like you see the phone like throw it out the window to the car. I'm like, ugh. But it's like it's totally that like it's that, but it's just that like it was that whole like, you should have thought about this when we were getting ready to leave, not as I'm trying to get you. Yes, I don't even say try. Like she's so now she wants to do it herself when she gets her seat. She wants to do her clicks herself, right? But but there's totally one of those like, I can't help you now.
Yeah. My mom was really good about it too growing up, is she never said no. It was always like, oh, that stinks.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't have my phone. Oh, that stinks.
Yeah.
And she's like, and she's pulling out. You know what I mean? Like, but I don't have my phone. Yeah, I heard you. Yeah. That really stinks. You'll be okay.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just, and it was so like, so I've done the same thing at this point where it's just like, I'm not sure what you want me to do. Yeah. But and I also think I have no idea if it's boys, girls difference or whatever, but it's sort of that like, oh, okay. For the longest time, it was the ass and seat time. Yeah. And it was sort of that, no, ass and seat time is 10:30. Like your ass is in the seat or you're not coming. Yeah. And they have Josh, I think we've left Josh in places. Yeah.
I feel like he would be the one that
we have forgotten him at different times. And it's a combination of, and again, anything taken to it is extreme is not good or help. Right. And so to its extreme, you leave your child on the grassy knoll of the Naval Academy during the Christmas lights parade thing, and you can make it almost to downtown and like, has anyone seen Josh? Because we all said we would be leaving at this time for whatever. Yep. He's just, the lights free. He moves at a different pace. it's good. It's worked out for him. It continues to work out for him.
He just might get left places.
Yeah, and he's okay with that now.
Yeah. He's okay with it now. He's hard not to.
He's learned how to, roll, do his own thing.
Oh, man.
But yeah, Carol Ryan, she never said no. It was always okay. So how are you gonna get there? I thought you were gonna take me. I'm got this other thing. It wasn't a no, I won't. I've got this other thing. Who's gonna be there? No. What, do their parents know you're coming? How long are you gonna stay? Did you finish this, and this before you go? And by the time you were done, and she wouldn't even have to go that deep into it. By the time she was done, you're like, forget it. It's too hard. I'll just stay here. Or forget it. I'll just
sounds like
go
just
down
when
the
they ask
street.
you to do something, just keep answering with a question to their question.
Yeah. And it was awesome. Like, she was never the parent that said no. In her mind, the thought was, she's like, I'm pretty liberal in the sense of what I let these kids do. Yeah. So there's going to be another parent that's going to say no before me. And she was usually right.
That's sometimes what we get with Fee, where we're just like, we give you you have a lot of freedom. And so when we say this, we need you to do this one thing. And she's just like,
you're like, all right.
I was like,
that stinks.
All right. I'll deal with this for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boundaries and bikes.
Yeah.
And trigger warnings.
Yeah.
It's fun to change. It's very viscerally rewarding to change the flat tire. You know what I mean? You get it back pumped up and it's clean and whatever. And so that's why when it was all done, I was like, hi, this is kind of cool. Yeah. And that's when I went to check it and I was like, and then I just laughed and I went, that's why I don't take care of your guys' stuff.
Yeah. Oh, right. I almost forgot for a minute.
So that's the why behind why it might appear to my children, to others, that I am a disinterested or you know what I mean? Absentee parenting in that realm. Yeah. But it is truly for their safety, my safety, and the safety of anybody within a 10-foot radius that would be caught in the blast of my inappropriate anger.
It hurts you more than it hurts them.
That's right.
Nice.
So
cool. Well, hey, since you brought up that big word, why?
Yeah, well done. Thanks for picking up on this.
We hit it a few weeks ago. A couple people hit us up with their whys as to why they do CrossFit, and we got through a handful, and we still have several handfuls to go. So we figure over the next, 15, 20 minutes, we'll knock out a couple more of these. What do you say?
Good. Do I need my grips for hands? Do I need chalk? Should I put on my wrist straps? How about some knee sleeves? Can I go pee real quick? Okay, you starting the clock
3,
now?
2.
Oh my God, I'm not ready. I didn't write my board yet.
You'll be all right.
You'll be okay. It'll be okay.
All right. Cool. So I think the last one we had hit that day was Joe. Good old Joe. So going down my list, we have one, Alex. Is it Weiland? Bertrand Weiland? Roger's wife.
Yes.
Rogers.
Rogers.
I'd say
Roger is Alex's.
I'd say better. I'd say Roger's better half, but really better 3/4, better 9/10.
She makes up the majority of the better.
The better, yeah.
Easy now. I mean, Roger's, he's a soft soul. He's a gentle soul.
He's a gentle soul.
Yeah.
Cool. So
he's like the Cocker Spaniel who looks kind of tough and whatever, but then when you actually put it, there's not much dog here. You're just kind of all air and bird bone. What is this?
You do that for Roger a lot?
I do. Actually, it was just kidding, Roger. You're very tough.
Feel for Roger's
and he's actually
bird bone.
Yeah. Anyway, no, I'm not going to go down that. There was a Chris Cooper on the Two Brain Business sent a funny email about you're a CrossFit coach, not a massage therapist. So stop touching your clients. Stop rubbing your clients' shoulders. And I'm reading this. I'm like, who does that?
Right?
Clearly somebody did. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to.
Hey, that was a really great workout you did today.
I'm very uncomfortable right now.
Goodness,
no, stop it.
How's that?
It just, and even when other clients touch other clients, that's between them, and I get it, but I'm always kind of 3 feet, folks, 3 feet, 3 feet separation, like this. Risk to reward here.
Leave some
Like,
room for the Holy Ghost.
yeah,
We'll start
like-
putting some balloons in between there, right?
and I'm not like a prude. It's just, you never know when someone's not gonna appreciate it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And so it's like, let's all just not mess with that.
And if you are, I just hope you know that person really well.
Yeah. But if I'm like, that's like
But from
his point from like the professional,
a
is it,
professional standpoint,
because there's no scope of practice. We are
No.
not qualified to
touch people.
or we're in a queuing of a movement.
Right.
We are, but we're not qualified to diagnose physiological. I'm not a board certified physical trainer or physical therapist or occupational therapist or massage therapist or fill in the blank, like entity that is certified by an actual organization due to documented clinical hours. That's not us.
Right.
That's not our scope of practice.
Right.
I can offer like what it looks like to me is this. We have a partnership with FX
So-and-so.
Physical
Yeah.
Therapy, which does great work and has an office opening in Annapolis, which is even closer
How
than
soon
Suburban
is that?
Park. I don't know.
God, I hope it's soon.
That you should go to that professional. They will tell you what to do. We believe in many of what they do, and you can work it into what we do here.
Yeah.
Like that. I thought that was a really good article, but the idea of
You
touching.
trust that I'm not going to come over to you and help you reset your pelvis.
Yeah. What did we get on that? Oh, I would not be touching Roger.
Touching Roger.
No,
feeling.
no,
Yeah.
not feeling his,
Cool.
his bird bones.
Cool.
Weird.
Well, not Roger, but Alex. My why,
Which was the whole point.
right? Because I had a light bulb moment talking to my significant other about how working out is not just about feeling good or looking good anymore.
She meant Roger, right?
I'm assuming. As a parent, it's so much more than that. It's about being healthy enough to take care of others and resetting my mood and unlocking more energy, even in those dead dog tired moments. I was not my best being cooped up. I wasn't working out my hardest when I did have accountability of the others. I wasn't working out my hardest when I didn't have accountability of the others at the gym. And I had hip pain that only worsened with repetitive workouts. I go to CrossFit because the programming is solid, the people and team atmosphere is amazing, and I'm a better human after one of those workouts. Alex.
Bam.
Which sounds like, in a nutshell, if I could go ahead and put Alex in a nutshell. Yeah, just about like
I hope she's not allergic to nuts. That would be bad.
an almond shell, almonds in their shells.
Do they?
A pistachio shell.
They definitely have. They're those.
Pistachios have shells.
Yeah, that would kill Andrew.
What?
That would kill Andrew. He's allergic to nuts.
Pistachios?
Pistachios are a nut.
Is he allergic to like all nuts?
All tree nuts. Yes,
All
all
tree
tree
nuts.
nuts.
I know it's like some. Anyway, Alex. So,
I'm not sure this 10:30 time frame
Alex,
works well for
my
us.
goodness.
We're a
Alex,
mess.
Alex, we're gonna go ahead and put you in a Lindt chocolate wrapper.
Mm,
There we go.
chocolate.
She feels good mentally. She feels good emotionally. She feels good physically. It pushes her to where she needs to go.
Yeah.
Or why. Boom. There it is. Break it
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
That's it. I think like that's a good why. I feel like that's the why too, where I think that's kind of our mentality when we open this place up was like, yeah, CrossFit comes with scores. Yeah, CrossFit comes with, there's these goals that you have of getting better at maybe these movements or some of these workouts and this and that. But really, like if that's what you're getting out of it, like bare minimum, if that's what you're getting out of it, mission accomplished.
Yeah. I think there's also the clarity of she did it for a while and then went away.
Yeah.
And then was able to see, you don't need a gym to do CrossFit. Like
No.
it actually, you need so little to. Sunday I wanted to move. So I walked the dogs, I come back, and now granted I have a C2 bike at the house, but I could have had a jump rope or done mountain climbers or whatever. And I did a 15-minute alternating EMOM of calories on the bike. I have these plates that I used for light deadlifts and handstand pushups. And so I just did 1 minute bike, 1 minute deadlift, 1 minute handstand pushups. And I did that 5 times through. It was great. Sweating, good to go. Stretched for 15 minutes afterwards, 30 minutes in and out with a hour, 15-minute dog walk. less than 2 hours and I had all the movement I needed
For that day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you could, like, it can be that simple. You don't even need the
Yeah.
plates or the bike or whatever. Push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups, you don't even pull-up bar. Like, you can have a backpack full of whatever. She knew that, right? And that's, but that wasn't the thing. So it's not even the movement. I'm curious, like, what makes the movement here makes her feel more accountable. So in a sense, it's actually just accountability.
Yeah.
Like, she needs external accountability,
Yeah.
which is fine. Like, that's good.
Yeah.
And that's
If that's what gets you going.
exactly.
That's
And
what
so,
gets you in here.
right. So, like, you only need to move once or twice well to feel what it feels like.
Yeah.
And then you can do that on your own.
Yeah.
You don't need a mirror or whatever. Like, you know, when you don't get to full depth on the squat.
Most
Do you know what I mean?
I think most people do.
Once or twice, like,
Yeah.
you know when you're not doing it.
Yeah.
So whether I'm the one telling you or you physically feel it, it's still accountability.
Yeah.
What the genesis of that accountability is, or where that accountability comes from, that knowing that and being self-aware enough to know that she needs it from somebody else.
Yeah.
All right, there you go.
Yep. And that was just, and I think that sometimes comes back to when people try to do it at home by themselves. It's even if you have the workout in front of you, when you're here, less people, you don't have to think about it as much. You just show up and do it.
Yeah.
I think that helps for sure. Cool. Thanks, Alex. Let's talk about Roger now.
Is he really the next
Roger's
one?
the next one
That's
up.
funny.
I would agree with everything Alex said. And that's it. That's it. That's just, I was just kidding. That's how you stay happily married, my friend.
He's right. Yes, dear.
Yes.
I mean, wide CrossFit because.
All right. I would agree with everything Alex said.
Are you serious? You really wrote that?
No, he wrote that.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
There's so much that
How
goes.
does he know what she wrote? I thought this was like a
I'm-
form. It
I'm-
was like a Google form. Or
No, I copy and pasted onto a Google Doc.
Oh.
I literally just shot them text messages and emails.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's
They
my,
were probably sitting next to each
they're
other.
probably sitting next to, this may have been like a dinner conversation. So yeah, I would agree with everything Alex said. There's so much that goes into being a parent each day. Putting a focus on your health seems like a no-brainer in order to get through those daily parenting duties while providing an example to your kids. On an individual perspective, I choose CrossFit for the daily challenge and the ongoing effort towards getting better at something every day. For me, this mindset has easily carried over into so many aspects of my life. Plus, I love cleans, toes to bar, and pull-ups.
Okay, so different. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, where his is more, like, I have a feeling with Alex, it would never, right? Like, if she never PR'd again, she's not going to care.
Yeah.
As long as, like, each individual instance of the class and the movement and the whatever it is leaves her feeling like she moved well, it gave her, and she doesn't hurt.
Right.
And then she's able to do what she wants to do in the future day or week or whatever.
Like she got a kick butt workout and is moving
Right.
on
Like,
with
she
her
doesn't
day.
really care. It doesn't sound what she cares about is being seen and being held accountable to showing up and moving well and moving so that her body responds the way she wants it to respond outside of the gym.
Yeah.
Roger said, well, he said, I agree with everything,
Yes.
which is interesting.
I feel
right?
the same way.
Right. But not really.
Right.
Right. Like, that's such the comment. Like, just
Right.
own it, man. Like,
I agree with Alex, but I also
right.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to agree with her. She doesn't care.
Yeah.
She's her own person, buddy. Sorry, we're like, how? Oh, jeez. Zoom. What happened here? That was weird. Probably zooming in on here. Microphone. This is the microphone.
The people that are in there.
Anyway, his is more, to me, it sounds like extrinsically motivated by a carrot and a stick. Do you know what I mean? So, like, where hers is the carrot and the stick of the accountability, the stick being like, not even shame, but like sort of just the recognition that somebody else is holding you accountable.
Yeah.
It's still a extrinsic motivation. His is not about a person, but like, I'm setting this bottle here. Try to grab it. right? Like we keep moving the target on him.
Yeah.
And that's sort of the CrossFit constantly moves the target of like you hit a 185-pound power clean PR. Well, I have more plates. We can make it 205 pounds. Right. And I did Grace RX like at 135 pounds. Great.
Good.
Now do it under 5 minutes. Do it 5 touch and goes, for 6 rounds. And
or we have heavy Grace.
Right. Like there's always the target's always moving, pushing the boundaries of those 10 general physical skills in an attempt to keep raising that area under the curve of your work capacity. So in the end, they both get the same benefit, being better humans outside of the gym, as Alex said, but
they're wise within.
It's very intriguing. So as much as he may agree with everything that she said,
he still
has
when it's 3, 2, 1, go.
He's seeing it from a different thing. So that's sort of where it also kind of makes sense, where maybe he doesn't need the accountability of the gym itself or even the people or the coach. The accountability for him, it sounds like, is more just in the nature of, I had a score on Fran from 3 years ago. My motivation to keep coming is to eventually have a better Fran time, which actually is a very effective, and I'm learning that's very insightful, or that's very helpful insight to him, how willing he was to take a step back when we framed it of, you want to get here. If you keep trying to drive your head into the wall to get there, you're going to either kill yourself because the wall's not going to break down.
Right.
What if we go around the wall? To go around the wall, we have to go backwards first, then a big circle, then we can come back at the target. And so going down in weight, doing less time, putting things on clocks. He is now back to loads that he was lifting 5-6 months ago in pain. Now, like
so much more smooth.
Not even really like, it's like, oh, that is now
there was a workout, I don't remember what it was recently, but he had mentioned something about like going 70%, like whatever the weight was that was on the, I think it was even whatever the RX weight was that day, it was like around 70% of whatever his lift was. Maybe it was cleans or something. And he was telling me, like, he had this conversation with you about taking a step back, and he said the cleans felt, so when he did the workout, the cleans felt so smooth. And I mean, like I said, it helped that the RX weight was that weight for him, but like he mentioned how he was taking that approach of like, here's what it says RX, but here's where I should be for this, blah, 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 blah. And how the difference he's noticing in everything that he does. So, but yeah.
And that makes sense now, that because he's got his eye on the target that he wants to get to, he is someone who appreciates you don't always have to come at the target head on. You can come around it, through it, over it, underneath it,
under it.
And to do that, sometimes you got to go backwards to be able to go forwards. So it was good.
Makes me think of a what has a bottom at the top?
What?
Your legs.
What is a bottom? Oh, that's good.
There you go.
That's good. One of the jokes, Jungle Cruise, folks, hilarious movie. Really liked it. But the Rock's jokes, it makes me think of, he tells us one about, he dated a girl who was cross-eyed, and she was always, God, I screwed it up. He says, like, she was always looking at me side eye or something, or like, shit, I forget what it is. I forget the punchline.
You should edit this to do a voiceover right at this spot.
just put that little like
it's just dubbing. It'll totally now it'll look like Squid Game where you just dubbed over that. But do it in Korean.
The Rock in Korean, or like Korean subtitles. I don't know if I get that graphic. Anyway, watch Jungle Cruise.
Watch Jungle Cruise.
About 2/3 of the way in the movie, he tells that joke. It's really great. It's a great moment. It's a very heartfelt moment when he connects with the other characters.
Maybe I'll watch that while he's napping. All right. This next one is from Kate Baru.
Oh, all right.
My why was because I needed to get the expletive out of my house when my life came to a standstill and I was not traveling, and 100% WFH. WFH? I needed people.
Maybe WTF is what you want to. Who knows?
I was not traveling in 100%.
I don't know.
Wonder, we'll figure that out. I needed people. Some people told me to buy a Peloton, which would have been way cheaper in the long run, would have still had me in my basement by myself. I had been practicing yoga, but needed interaction. And boy, did I get it at Fairwinds. The people is a big part of what keeps me there. You have built a hell of a sense of community. Why CrossFit and not more yoga or gym? Why CrossFit and not more yoga or gym membership? Number one, I like going because people plus coaching. Number two, everything can be modified so anyone can do it. Number three, I'm as strong as I've been in years. I can do more shit than I have ever done. Nice.
So that's a cool one. I like, the human interaction element is what brought her.
Yeah.
We found a bunch of people like-minded, but then the efficacy of the methodology trumped the, not even fear, but like the preconceived notion that, I'm sure Peloton works. I don't know. I don't do it.
Yeah.
It's not something that I find, but that I'm attracted to in any way, shape, or form. Like, I think one workout I'd be done. Like that. I'd just be like, okay, like I am attracted to the methodology of CrossFit first.
Yeah.
For me personally, it's the people is second.
Yeah, right.
I like the community aspect of it. It is awesome. It is.
Yeah.
But like, it's the methodology.
But it's not your driving force to CrossFit.
Right. The efficacy of constantly varied functional movements done at high intensity to improve work capacity across broad times and modal domains. That's it. Like, I don't think there will ever be a strength and conditioning method for general physical preparedness ever invented again that is better than that for our human body the way it's currently designed.
Yeah.
And he didn't really invent it. He did, but he didn't. It's been around. When we had my buddy Don, I can't think of it, the early, the historian and the doctor.
Yeah.
God, I can't think of their names all of a sudden. He's right, early 20th century, turn of the early 1900s. They were doing CrossFit.
Yeah.
They even had a CrossFit Games type of thing at Madison Square Gardens.
That's exactly what it sounded like.
Early Greek culture, the Greek Olympics and stuff. Guess what? They were doing CrossFit. They were running, they were lifting, they were doing gymnastics, right? And not granted, they were naked and it was only men that could do it. Come on, guys.
It's coming.
Yeah. Whoa.
It's the new CrossFit documentary.
It's a little backwards. So in that sense, what we do in CrossFit is nothing new.
Yeah.
The association of fitness as a product of force application and a power output equation, and that fitness being longitudinally across the z-axis of years being associated to your health as the pre-indicator of the ancillary association to blood pressure, BMI, A1C, like all of those other indicators, but those being lag indicators of health and fitness being a lead indicator of health. That was what was revolutionary in Glassman's approach to that. If I have somebody who consistently comes 3 to 4 times a week, who works out at relative to them, high intensity, but also I can chart and equate it to high intensity. And I test them now and I test them 6 months from now, and they are better, more fitness, more power output now than they were 6 months ago.
All those other things.
You got it.
Yeah.
That's the idea of the lead indicator. What's interesting is that Kate, for herself, felt that, and that's what keeps her here. So what brought her was the human interaction.
Because stuff opened back up, right? Like
exactly. That's what she says in her statement. I could have, right? And even that, yes, buy a Peloton at first. It's a price point, and at some point the membership is less than a membership here. So across the year, it takes about, I think I did the math on it. It's 3 years. If you do a 3-year CrossFit gym membership at about the 2-year and 9-month of a Peloton, the Peloton is now quote unquote cheaper. But I would chart that against those who get the Peloton and join the membership versus those who come here and someone
who's been doing CrossFit for that amount of time,
and we just say, right, and we just say chart it to how often you're doing it,
Mhm.
and then aggregate that to cost per attendance or cost per
Right.
session,
Right.
which one is then cheaper?
Right.
And that's sort of the interesting. And then if
Yeah.
that's the case, then the downstream is, okay, well, if I'm consistently doing it, which one gives you the better results? Consistency trumps everything.
Yeah.
That's probably what she's also seeing, is that the methodology not only works, but it is.
She knows herself enough too. If there's a Peloton in her basement, she's not
gonna do
she's
it.
not coming as much as she can to
Exactly.
do this. Yeah.
And then the byproduct of consistently
Great
doing
self-awareness,
it
Kate, by the way.
is that the methodology works
Yeah.
better. And it actually even works better even at 2 to 3 times a week versus if I did Peloton 2 to 3 times a
Right.
week. You're cardiovascularly going to be pretty fit, I'm sure. But, and I don't know, I'm not an expert on that method or Orange Theory or any of these other ones. I know what we know, and I know that it works after, hundreds of thousands of hours across my own, but also, the people who have been through here and the different affiliates. Yeah, I mean, so that's kind of cool. That's cool to see how her why didn't necessarily change, but what she then was able to see as the byproduct was as, and even now more attractive to keeping her coming than the initial why of the people.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's crushing it.
And it fits in with my, I have apparently I'm coming up with like multiple three vector metrics, or 3 vector systems for measuring success. So the fast, easy, cheap was the blog post I wrote, but the voluntary compliance, personal improvement, and then personal recruitment. And so if you have a good product in this sort of situation, if somebody is voluntarily coming, right? So compliance or just attendance, consistency. And I can't incentivize it. I can't artificially prop that up with external stimuli. It has to be internally, voluntarily compliant. That, hey, this is the deal. This is the time, show up or don't show up. It's your choice. Somebody starts doing that. They do that consistently. Okay, good. We've made it through the first mark. How you stimulate that is by them coming consistently in the metric or in the measure, in the way that you've established that they need to come 3 to 4 times a week, whatever. If they start to see personal improvement, then they're it, right? Now it's okay, that then defends my compliance, and actually their compliance will actually even increase their voluntary compliance if they start to see the personal improvement. And then how you know that you have a overall system that is working is that as they continue to personally improve, they won't shut up about it, and they will start to bring other people. That because we as social animals, if I suddenly realize, what did I make you do? I made you taste this.
That's true.
Right? I'm so proud of this shake that I made. I mean,
you should try this.
I have this much of it. There was this much left. I had chugged down. I'm like, you need to try this.
You need to try this.
Right? And you liked it.
I tried it and I won it myself.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'll make more next time.
Thank you.
I mean, there's a little bit left.
Or I can just go buy it.
Well, no, you have to make, this is my own concoction.
I could buy all the stuff.
You're right. You could. But you see what I mean? We are naturally inclined that when we find something that we like, we want other people to, even if we find something that we don't like. Oh God, smell this.
Oh my God. You gotta smell
right? Because we want people to share in both our suffering and our joy. Otherwise, it's not as fun. As much as a recalcitrant introvert as I am, I do want other people to share in my joy and my sorrow and my pain.
It's funny. We went to this party Friday night. It was parents and kids and all from fee school. And I was talking to this guy. I had nobles on. This guy started. He's like, "Oh, I have a pair of those too." We started talking. We were talking for 20 minutes, and then I ended up mentioning I mentioned CrossFit a little bit, but I mentioned that I own a gym and blah blah blah. He goes, "Oh, that's so cool. I didn't realize that." I was like, "I know. I'm a bad CrossFitter. We've been talking for 20 minutes. It's the first time I'm bringing it up."
Really? What did you guys talk about? If you started at Nobles, how did you not get to Matt Frazier within 30 seconds?
Because I started talking about running at Nobles. I started running. I ran the 10K at my Nobles. And he's got the runners and he really likes them. But it was 20 minutes. And I was sorry, I'm a bad CrossFitter. It's been 20 minutes.
He does not CrossFit then?
Well, we didn't get that far because then it was.
Oh
time
my
for us to
God,
go.
you're even a
We
bad
literally-
businessman, Aaron.
literally
I'm just
even-
kidding. I never.
We
I-
literally had just started talking about it, and then it was like Meg was like, "We gotta go." I was like, "All right, cool." And
You know what? You may be a bad CrossFitter. You're a really good human being.
okay.
Because nobody wants to talk about that stuff unless they're a CrossFitter.
Yeah.
And he would have fished that out.
Well, he
a lot
mentioned
quicker.
that he had talked about how he has his no bulls, but he's been squatting barefoot a lot lately to do this and that. I was like, okay, cool. I think if you don't do CrossFit, we have plenty we could talk about. So, but it's good. It's
But
good.
you're that's actually very emotionally intelligent of you to not lead with that, right? Like my move is, what's your friend time?
Yeah. Well, it's funny, like people I don't for whatever reason I don't like I will not naturally I will not bring up like, oh, by the way, I own a CrossFit gym. You should come try it. It's something has to come up. And someone will be like, oh,
it's not
what
your identity.
Yeah.
It's not the only thing of your identity.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think it's a very healthy. That's what I'm.
So Meg will say to me, she's like, why do you like hesitate to like bring it up to people? I was like, well, I'll bring it up if they ask me.
Yeah.
But I don't lead into like, that's not, it's not like when I first start talking to someone about myself, if they ask me about myself, that's not the thing I lead with, is like what I do for a living.
Yeah.
And even though I love what I do for a living, and this is really cool, but it's like, even then it's like, it's part of what I do. So I don't know, but I always joke, I was like, sorry, I'm a bad CrossFitter. Kind of talked about it, but it's good though. But what it does is it left the door open for, we had to leave in such a hurry. His name was, I think it's John. I was like, crap, was it Jack? Was it John? Was it James? I think it was John. And I told Meg, I was like, I really like talking to John. I'm sad we had to leave so early. She goes, it's okay. You'll see your friend again soon. They go to the same school. So,
but it is, you guys, that's a good point. You got you got an in next time.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
You know, wearing your noodles. Oh, you got your Allbirds on. I have Allbirds too.
Right.
Yeah, you start, yeah.
Well, it's funny too, like throughout that time too, like I think I just naturally, there was chili on the stove that someone had made, and then there was like a Chick-fil-A platter. But the first table you walk into was like homemade cookies and like pie. And I don't know any of the people in this room. And I'm just out loud like, can't believe they put this table here first. Like, why would you put the cookies and stuff here first? And no one really responded to it. I was like, this isn't my room. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go outside and see what the kids are doing.
It was like that moment in the Friends episode when Monica's making all the candy and Joey's outside. Yeah, lady, give us our candy.
Give us our candy.
And she's like, Joey, what do you guys get out of here. Get out of here. Hey, what is it? Oh, Meg, where's the kids? I gotta go.
Yes.
Speaking of.
Yes. Cool.
All right, well, those are good ones. Thank you, Kate, Alex, and
Roger.
that guy that hangs out with Alex. What's his name? Oh, Roger.
Schmadger? Godger.
Rajich? Alex.
Thanks, guys.
Love
Awesome.
you, Roger. You're
So
awesome. What's your gratitude?
Oh,
5 seconds or less.
Gratitude.
Want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
Mine are the trees. I'm freaking loving
the
these
trees are
trees.
beautiful,
This
yeah.
morning it was amazing.
Oh,
The colors are so cool when the sun hits them. And the light, I mean, seriously, I feel like I am in a movie half the time. Driving the kids to school this morning and then walking the dogs.
yes.
It was like, I felt like I was in like a John
beautiful.
Hughes movie.
Yeah.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing fall.
I'm going to piggyback off that. Leaves.
Yeah.
The leaves from the trees. Meg and Fee did this project the other day where like they painted animals on leaves.
Oh,
And Meg made these. I wish I had a picture, but she basically took a leaf and made it look like a fox, like the way she painted on. It's so cool.
that's really
And
cool.
so anyway, the leaves, and then I was packing Fee's bag, and I pulled a bunch of leaves out the other day. She had collected a bunch of leaves at school at camp to
You should totally
to do
get
the
her
paint.
the actual Larry the Leaf. I haven't read it in a really long time. The one that I wrote the blog post about,
really?
Larry the Leaf letting go.
Was that a recent one?
Yeah, it was a couple weeks ago.
I don't remember Larry the Leaf.
Okay. I think it's a heavy-handed Christian book. So no like pushing upon anyone religious beliefs. There is a component of I think like an afterlife and a higher purpose
Sure,
and
yeah.
God and stuff. I can't remember all of it. It's been a while since I've read it.
Yeah.
The part that I like though is just the idea of you gotta let go.
Gotta let
Like
go.
everything's got a season, and it's in the letting go that you realize like, oh, that's what I was supposed to do.
Wow.
So it's a great story. I think from what I remember of it, it was a great story. It made for a fun write.
Yeah.
But I bet you she would dig it.
Literally.
But I haven't. I think you can find a PDF version of it if you guys wanted to give it a perusal. And plus, she's older now, though. She might not dig those kind of books.
Yeah.
She's watching Jungle Cruise, and oh my God, have you guys watched Cruella with her yet? Also, really good.
We just watched the live musical version of A Christmas Story last night.
Oh, that's a good one too with Jim
So
Carrey.
No, you're thinking of Christmas Carol. Christmas Story, the one with the Red Ryder BB gun.
Yeah.
With the built-in stuff. There's it was like NBC or something, whoever did a musical version.
Updated? Like new actors? Obviously, it'd have to be.
It was I think it was 2019 they did it. But it's
I've not seen it.
yeah, it was a music Maya Rudolph.
All right.
There's a few, like Maya Rudolph's in there, Fred Armisen pops up in there at one point. But yeah, it's a
I'll watch that. It'd be funny.
Yeah.
Who plays the bully? Who plays
I have no idea. Like some of these kids actors, I have no idea.
All right.
So yeah. So I think there's a lot of Broadway talent in there. So
that's a good one.
Yeah.
Thanks for your whys, folks. You're why we do this.
You're our why.
You're our why.
Thanks for your whys.
You're our whys. Whys? I could go for some potato chips right now.
3 wise men.
Huh. I don't know.
Happy holidays, ladies and gentlemen.
We'll see you
On the creek.